The alien planet of Zorath 9 was alive with excitement. Scientists had discovered a signal drifting through space, and at first, they had laughed at it. It was weak, strange, and human, a species that had once been dismissed as primitive, slow, and fragile. Nothing to worry about, the Council had said. They can barely survive their own planet. What chance do they have in the galaxy? But nobody understood the truth. Humans were not what they seemed, and what the Zorathians didn't know yet was that they had just made a mistake they would regret for 1,000 years. Deep in the council chambers, alarms began to flash red. The signal, which they had thought harmless, started to pulse faster. Screens filled with strange patterns, almost like a heartbeat. "It's alive," one alien whispered, unable to hide the tremor in their voice. "It's waking up." Outside the research station, the sky glimmered with distant stars. A single human warship was moving faster than their sensors could track. It wasn't just moving, it was appearing in places before anyone could calculate its trajectory. The scientists froze. They had studied human technology, sure, but nothing in their history suggested humans could reach this level so quickly. In the halls of Zorath 9, panic spread like wildfire. Commanders shouted orders, but the voices were drowned in static alarms. Fleet ships were scrambled. Warning drones were launched. Every sensor in the system searched for the human threat, but it was already too late. The humans weren't attacking yet, and that was the most terrifying part. On the bridge of one Zorathian cruiser, a young officer pressed his claws against the console. His entire body shook. "Sir, they're not just coming, they're here. And they're waiting." The commander's eyes widened. They had never seen such calm, such absolute control in any species before. Humans did not panic. Humans did not rush. Humans did not beg. Humans acted, and right now, they were acting with patience, which meant the reckoning had already begun. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, other species began to notice strange signals. A distant moon that had been dormant for centuries suddenly lit up with activity. Communications between star systems were jammed. Reports flooded the council, fleets disappearing, colonies cut off, even entire mining stations left abandoned. Something was moving, something powerful, something humans. Back on Zorath 9, the scientists tried to rationalize it. "Maybe it's a mistake," one muttered. "Maybe they are just primitive hunters, maybe we overreacted." But deep down, every alien in the room felt the same cold fear. They had woken the wrong species, and humans had a way of reminding the galaxy why they were never to be underestimated. The lead scientist, trembling, watched the signals pulse again. The pattern was no longer random, it was intelligence, strategy, intent. It wasn't a message, it was a warning that echoed in every system, in every fleet, in every council chamber. Humans are coming, and they will not be stopped. Outside, in the blackness of space, stars seemed to dim as if even the universe held its breath. On Zorath 9, alien crews clutched their controls, whispering to each other, unable to speak the truth out loud. "We thought we could handle them, we were wrong." And in the silence before the storm, one thought rang louder than any alarms. The galaxy had just made the deadliest mistake of its history. They had awakened humans, and humans were coming. Across the galaxy, panic spread faster than light. Word of the humans' awakening traveled through sensors, communications, and spy satellites like wildfire. No species had ever faced anything like this before. Even the most advanced empires, the ones that thought themselves untouchable, suddenly realized they had underestimated a species they had long mocked. On Zorath 9, the council convened in a high-security chamber. Alien leaders of every shape and size crowded around holographic screens showing human activity. Their claws, tentacles, and wings trembled with fear. One elder, his scales pale with stress, muttered under his breath, "They are coming, and they know exactly where to strike first." The humans hadn't fired a single shot yet. Not a missile, not a laser, not even a warning flare, and that was terrifying. It wasn't the humans' weapons that made them deadly. It was their patience, their strategy, their understanding of the galaxy. Every move they made had purpose. Every step had meaning. In the fleets orbiting Zorath 9, officers barked orders, trying to prepare for a battle that had already begun. Defense shields hummed, energy weapons charged, and the atmosphere was thick with tension. Still, no human ships were in range. Yet every alien could feel the pressure, the weight of a predator waiting silently before it strikes. Reports came in from other star systems. Colonies once thought safe were abandoned almost overnight. Starports shut down as alarms blared, and freighters vanished without a trace. Communication channels buzzed with panic. They're already here somewhere. One alien commander clenched at his hands against the console, sweat dripping down his face. "How can they be everywhere at once?" he whispered. Meanwhile, humans were moving calmly through the void. No panic, no chaos, no hesitation, just precision. Every fleet captain, every human crew member seemed to understand something the galaxy had forgotten. Humans thrived in chaos. Humans adapted. Humans survived. Humans dominated. On Zorath 9, a young officer finally spoke, voice shaking. "Sir, they are not attacking yet. But every move they make, every signal, every approach, it is intentional. They want us to see them, to feel fear. They are testing us." The commander didn't respond immediately. He stared at the flickering screen, realizing the horrifying truth. Humans didn't need to attack to win. Humans had already started the battle in the minds of every alien. In the council chamber, one alien dared to ask the question everyone feared. Why are they so patient? An elder's voice trembled as he answered. Because humans are not like us. We rush, we panic, we underestimate. Humans, they wait, they plan, they observe, and when the time comes, they strike. Without mercy. Far from Zorath 9, across countless star systems, humans were coordinating silently. Small, seemingly insignificant movements, freighters adjusting course, scouts scanning planets, communication signals hopping from system to system, created a network the galaxy could not see. The humans weren't just returning, they were rewriting the rules. Every action, every pause, every signal was part of a strategy the aliens could not predict. Back on Zorath 9, alarms blared again. The council members froze as another report came in. A fleet of alien warships had disappeared without explanation. No explosions, no weapons fired. Just gone. Fear gripped every creature in the chamber. Humans were no longer a rumor. Humans were a storm, waiting to descend upon the galaxy. And in that moment, a chilling thought spread through every mind. The galaxy had not faced humans yet. Humans had faced the galaxy, and the galaxy had lost. No one spoke. No one moved. Every alien understood one undeniable truth: the humans were coming. And when they arrived, nothing in the universe would ever be the same. The galaxy held its breath. For weeks, alien fleets had scrambled, colonies had locked down, and councils had argued in panic. And yet the humans still had not attacked. Not a single shot, not a single strike, and that was what terrified the galaxy the most. On Zorath 9, the council watched as their sensors finally captured a clear image. A fleet of human ships hovered on the edge of the system. Not one, not 10, but hundreds, ships of every size and shape, glinting under distant stars. Their formation was perfect, almost unnatural. There was no chatter, no signals, no signs of haste. Just precision. A young officer gasped. "Sir, they're beautiful and terrifying." The commander's eyes narrowed. "This isn't beauty. This is control. This is strategy. And we are trapped in it." Then the human spoke. Not with weapons, not with attacks, but through a simple holographic transmission. A single voice, calm and steady, filled every screen in the council chamber. "You woke us. The galaxy will pay attention now. No threats, no anger, just certainty." The words hung in the chamber like a storm cloud. Every alien, from the smallest scout to the highest council elder, felt a chill. Humans did not beg. Humans did not negotiate. Humans acted. And right now, the galaxy knew humans were acting in their own time. Outside, the human fleet moved with silent confidence. Ships glided past planets, scanning, observing, noting weaknesses the aliens hadn't even realized existed. They didn't need to fire. They didn't need to prove strength. Their presence alone, calm, precise, unyielding, was enough. Every alien system trembled. Every commander questioned every decision they had ever made about humans. Reports came in. Fleets that had prided themselves on speed and firepower vanished in minutes, not from attack, but from human interference no one could explain. Communications were hacked, defense systems disabled, energy grids shut down, all without a single laser being fired directly. The humans were everywhere and nowhere. On Zorath 9, an elder finally spoke, voice shaking. "We thought they were weak, primitive, fragile. We laughed at them." He paused, swallowing hard. "We were wrong, so very wrong." The young officer swallowed. "They didn't even fire, sir. Not one shot. And entire fleets are gone. How can a species do this without fighting?" The commander's voice was grim. "Because they are humans. And humans have always survived, adapted, and conquered. They don't need to show power. They are power." Across the galaxy, other species were having the same realization. From the outer colonies of the Krelth to the floating cities of the Orvax, a single thought echoed in every mind. Humans were no longer a threat to be underestimated. They were a force beyond comprehension. On one distant moon, a scientist finally admitted aloud, "They are the deadliest predators in the galaxy." And we woke them. The council chamber went silent. No one dared speak after that. Fear and awe mixed into a single emotion, respect for the humans, but also terror at what could come next. And then, a single message arrived from the lead human ship. Simple. Direct, clear. We are watching. You may choose to survive. Silence filled the galaxy. Every alien fleet paused. Every council meeting froze. The humans hadn't attacked yet, but the message made one thing very clear. Humans were aware, humans were waiting, and humans would not forgive. On Zorath 9, the commander leaned back in his chair, feeling the weight of the truth. The galaxy had laughed at humans for centuries. Mocked them, dismissed them, underestimated them. And now, the humans had returned. The realization hit every alien present at the same time. The galaxy had just awoken a species that could destroy it all if it wanted to. And in the calm, still space outside Zorath 9, the human fleet moved silently, waiting for the right moment, watching, calculating, and always in control. The deadliest threat in the galaxy had arrived. The calm didn't last long. Across the systems, alien fleets scrambled, trying to prepare for the inevitable. Zorath 9's skies burned with activity, ships taking positions, weapons charging, shields powering up. Yet, the humans had not fired a single shot. On the bridge of a Zorathian dreadnought, Commander Threx gritted his teeth. All sensors report human movement, he shouted. They're everywhere. And nowhere at the same time. His clawed hand trembled as he slammed it against the console. Ready all weapons. Engage on my command. But the humans didn't wait for orders. They didn't panic. They didn't rush. Instead, they moved with a precision that defied logic. Scout ships slipped past detection fields. Drones disabled energy grids silently. Supply lines vanished without trace. Entire fleets found themselves in chaos before they even realized a human ship had touched them. A young Zorathian officer stared at his screen, wide-eyed. Sir, they didn't fire. Not once. And our ships are falling apart. How? The commander could only shake his head. Humans fight differently. They don't just attack, they control the battlefield. They think 10 steps ahead, and we can barely see 2. Then, it began. The first human vessel uncloaked near the edge of the system, small but deadly. With surgical precision, it disabled the main reactor of a Zorathian destroyer. The ship didn't explode, it simply went silent. Its crew, confused, watched as their own systems failed. Moments later, another human ship appeared, and then another. Within minutes, entire fleets found themselves immobilized, not by brute force, but by strategy. The council in the chamber could hardly believe their eyes. They're not attacking, one alien whispered. They're teaching us a lesson. Fear mingled with awe. Every species watching knew the same truth. Humans were not only dangerous, they were untouchable when they chose to be. On the battlefield, communications buzzed with panic. Alien commanders shouted orders, tried to coordinate attacks, but every plan fell apart. The humans anticipated every maneuver, countered every tactic, and yet never revealed their full strength. It was as if they were playing a game, and the galaxy had no idea how to win. In the chaos, a Zorathian general realized the horrifying truth. Every move they make is deliberate. They are controlling the outcome without firing a single weapon directly. Our fleets are already defeated. Meanwhile, humans moved silently between systems. Small, precise strikes dismantled defense networks, cut communication lines, and freed trap colonies. Planets once under siege were stabilized, supply chains restored. Yet no one could comprehend how the humans did it. It was not brute force. It was intelligence, patience, strategy control. Back on Zorath 9, the council stared at the feeds in shock. Reports came in from neighboring systems. Entire alien fleets vanished, crippled not by explosions, but by human foresight. Their own attacks were turned against them, their own defenses turned inside out. The humans were everywhere, and yet nowhere could be found. Finally, Commander Threx leaned back in his chair, face pale. We have underestimated them. Every single time we thought we were clever, we were wrong. The humans, they don't just fight. They win. Without trying. A young officer swallowed hard. Sir, if they're this careful now, what happens when they actually want to destroy us? The commander didn't answer. He didn't need to. Silence filled the room. Outside, the human fleet glided past the chaos with deadly calm. Systems fell, fleets collapsed, and the galaxy watched in horror and awe. And in that silence, one thing became painfully clear to every species: the humans had arrived, and the galaxy would never recover from this lesson. The deadliest species in the universe had awoken, and the first taste of their power was only the beginning. The battle had ended, or rather, the lesson had been delivered. Across the galaxy, silence reigned. Ships that had once prided themselves on power lay disabled or scattered. Entire fleets had surrendered without firing a single shot. And all this had been done by humans without showing anger, without raising their weapons in full, without mercy, but also without cruelty. On Zorath 9, the council chamber was quiet. Leaders huddled in small groups, whispering in disbelief. We thought we knew humans. One elder said, his voice trembling. We thought we were ready. We were wrong. Another added, they didn't even attack. And yet we've lost everything we believed we understood about them. Everywhere the humans had passed, the galaxy had learned the same truth: humans were not just survivors. Humans were predators, strategists, and engineers beyond imagination. They were patient, clever, and adaptable. A species that the galaxy had mocked and dismissed had returned not with rage, but with calculated dominance. In the aftermath, colonies once thought lost were stabilized, supply lines restored. Civilizations that had teetered on the edge of collapse were saved, not by alien intervention, but by humans acting quietly, efficiently, and decisively. The galaxy began to whisper about them, not as a threat, not as an enemy, but as a force that demanded respect. Back on Zorath 9, Commander Threx stared at the human fleet on the edge of their system. They hadn't celebrated. They hadn't gloated. They had simply done what humans always did: act when necessary, with precision and intelligence. And now they waited. Not for orders, not for revenge, not for conquest, but for the next moment the galaxy needed them to act. Every alien in the council knew the truth. We underestimated them, one whispered again. We mocked them. We ignored them. And now we have no choice but to respect them. The words hung in the air like a shadow. It was not just respect, it was fear. Fear mixed with awe. Fear mixed with understanding. Humans were not just a species, they were a reckoning. Across the galaxy, fleets retreated. Star systems rebuilt quietly. Every empire that had once laughed at Earth and its primitive inhabitants reconsidered their assumptions. The humans had not attacked fully, yet the message was clear: do not underestimate them. Ever. On the bridge of the lead human ship, Captain Reyes looked out into the endless void of stars. His crew worked silently, every movement precise. There was no celebration. There was only vigilance. The humans had awoken the galaxy to a truth it could not ignore, and they would continue to watch, wait, and act when the time was right. In the council chambers of countless alien empires, historians, scholars, and leaders would later write about this day. They would call it the day humans returned, the day the galaxy remembered, the day the deadliest species alive had reminded the universe why it had survived every challenge, every threat, and every miscalculation. The galaxy had been shaken. Systems had been challenged. Lives had been changed. And in the quiet corners of space, humans had reminded every species of one undeniable truth: no species, no empire, no council could ever claim superiority over them. Humans were patience, humans were strategy, humans were survival, and when awakened, humans were unstoppable. And so, the humans continued their journey, moving silently through the stars, patient, calm, and powerful. The galaxy would rebuild, empires would recover, and stories would be told. But one lesson would never be forgotten. The humans had awakened. The deadliest threat in the galaxy had returned, and from this day forward, the galaxy would never underestimate them again.